I want to start off just by recognizing 9/11, and came in this morning and the scoreboard had this waving flag on the Jumbotron, and our ROTC was marching every step in Carter Finley Stadium, and over the loudspeaker they were saying the names of many of the people that were lost on that tragic day, and really just take a minute to remember that and the horrific act that it was. And also, my father's birthday, and lost him this past year. So his first birthday that he's having, and hopefully he's, happy birthday, Dad, that he's enjoying himself in heaven, and maybe he's hanging out with Jimmy Buffett today, I don't know. But, there's a series of firsts you go through in life, and this is my first year without him on his birthday. So I want to take a minute to make sure that I do give him a shout out. In regard to the game, let's start with our fans. They were awesome coming back after a 90-minute weather delay. I know I didn't say that in my press conference. There's a million things going through my head after a 5.5-hour game. But before I even talk about the game, just thank you. Wolfpack are tough people, and that's what I love about this place. We say hard, tough together, and you guys were. So thank you to our fans, our students, showing your commitment to our players and our staff with your actions and your support. Not a lot of fan bases would do that after 90 minutes, and so it's noticed, and we love you for it. With regard to the game itself, Notre Dame's a very good football team. In all three phases, they were what they looked to be on tape. They were a big, fast, sound, physical, well-coached football team. And, with that, it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter, and a one-score game in which we didn't play very well. I think we did not play complementary football. I told our team, at the end of the game, the scoreboard is it's a collection of points that is a scorecard for plays made and plays not made. And they made more plays than we did. Throughout the game, I think the score was not indicative of the game, but I do think the score was very indicative of the plays we didn't make at the times we needed to make them. And so it's a great learning opportunity on complementary football. We talk about that to ad nauseum here, but I think all of us know that our older people, sometimes something has to actually happen versus being said for a lesson to be learned. As parents, we all know that. This team learned a lot in that game. That was a top 10 team that we played. It was, rewinding the game, we're down 7 points. It's 24-17. We scored to make it 24-17 on Brennan's run after a nice drive down the field. The next possession, great pass rush strain by Brandon Cleveland, forces a fumble on a sack. Noah Potter scoops it up. We're at the plus 17, and we got momentum, and everybody is thinking, here we go, and it was a great play. Ball's on the 17. We throw a inside fade route to KC in the corner. Beautiful ball by Brennan. KC elevates, gets two hands on the ball, and their DB knocks it out instead of us coming down with it. And those are the kind of plays that I know KC's going to make in his career. But when you're playing a top 10 team, you've got to make competitive contact plays that are difficult to make, and routine plays, and then a couple just like wow, like Keon's play was a wow play. It's a great football play by him. And as we've seen over, players' careers, I was a freshman that has made some plays, 9 catches already for us. But that was a big play we needed and didn't make. And the next play, Dylan, a very veteran center, flinches, and we get a penalty. It's 2nd 15, now 3rd and 17. All of a sudden, we go out to kick, a field goal that we normally would make. That Braden has been very consistent inside of 40 in his career, and just, pulled it. So came out of that, and I think that was the turning point of the game. I really do. Obviously, the next 3 drives resulted in touchdowns for them and turnovers for us. So just didn't get it done. Every time we got momentum back, Notre Dame answered, and you have to give them credit, and we have to learn from that, taking advantage of momentum. But like I said, sometimes you need to lose to enforce something that's important. Our players do play hard. You see that. In the end, they made more plays than we did, and you have to give them credit for that. The scoreboard showed it, and that's a reflection of plays made and not made, like I said. I think on a positive on offense, it was great to see Bradley Rosner. He sparked us with a really nice catch on third down over the middle, elevated, and then the touchdown on the scramble play by Brennan. Keon Lassane, had a great third down conversion, had 2 tough runs, and then made a great play down the sideline on a diving fade ball. And then Javonte Vereen elevated himself. He went from just playing in the UConn game to making plays in the Notre Dame game. So that was growth, playmaking ability that we can build on. We were 2 of 2 on short yardage. That was an area that we were wanting to be better in, and we were. We increased our explosive plays from 4 to 9 in that game. And so, again, area we wanted to be better at. Negatives, we didn't capitalize on field position in the first half. The defense really did a good job setting up the offense in the first half with some shorter fields that we didn't score. We had 4 pre-snap false starts, which cannot happen. 2 of them killed drives. Had 3 interceptions. Obviously, as the game got out of hand, I think Brennan pressed on one of them. One of them was a great throw, which, was a drop that turned into an interception. And the other was a shot call where we threw a fade down the sidelines. Just got to do a better job getting it outside. But that happens sometimes when you throw deep balls. But we can't turn the football over at that rate. We have to do a better job of finishing catches, I think. The drops sometimes don't kill you. In this game, we had 3 drops that were really nice throws on third down that would have been conversions. Anytime you convert on third down, you increase your odds of scoring. And so those are areas that we have to get better. Defensively, like I mentioned, we started fast. 2 back-to-back 3-and-outs, really came out aggressive. It was great to see the first play of the game on defense. Savion Jackson just blows it up and makes a tackle. His first play back from his injury looked awesome out there. I thought our D-line played much better. I thought we were more square and vertical. Last week against UConn, I thought we were turned too much and lateral, so that was improvement. I thought our third down defense, particularly third and long, we were very good and got some pressure, 4 sacks on the quarterback, had 5 tackles for loss, so 9 plays in their backfield. Peyton Wilson and Jalen Scott were both super active. Peyton had 2 incredible effort plays in the game. I think Shai and Aiden both covered well. They were tested in their tackling. They made those guys tackle with their tight edge formations. Negatively, we gave up too many explosive plays, not indicative of who we are. The 80-yard touchdown run coming out of the 90-minute break was frustrating. On the field, I felt like, wow, they just came out and really knocked us off the ball. They didn't. If you watch the play, our linebackers and D linemen fit that play perfectly, and we had an unblocked player that just took a bad angle, didn't see the guard pull, should have been right there, actually got his fingertips on the guy, but should have been there to make that play for a 3-yard gain. And then we need to run that down in the back end. The 2-minute before the half drive was really disappointing. We drive down and get a score and cut that game to 1 possession. And, we're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. And then, receiver gets rerouted by Aiden out of bounds and comes back in, and our safety loses him. That's his third. He's playing a deep third. He needs to stay in his third. And that's Sean Brown, just, young player that needs to understand the situation, 2-minute, and stay with depth on his side of the field. I thought our eye discipline defensively, as the game went on, got worse and worse, and they exposed us with some play actions and nakeds because of that. And generally, when you see that, guys are trying to do someone else's job. And so for us, there's just a big emphasis right now on just, do your part, do it as well as you can, and then play with tremendous effort, something that we'll definitely grow from. I think special teams was a definite positive. We won that area of the game other than the missed field goal. Our punt return was much better. Jalen Coit went from being nervous in game 1 to being a difference maker in game 2. Plus 10 in his punt returns and helped us in field position, did a great job catching the ball. The guys battled for him. And our punt team handled a lot of pressure. Notre Dame was a very aggressive rush team. I thought those guys did a nice job. Cecil Powell did a great job covering our punts. They had 0 return yards in the game, and they were on a mission to block a punt and didn't get there. So guys did a great job protecting. Now on to VMI. Coach Rocco's an experienced head coach. He's built several successful programs. We played against him. I think it was my first year or second year. I don't remember when he was at Richmond here. But a really good football coach, hard-nosed guy, and knows how to coach a football team and build a program. He's in his first year. I think for us this week is really critical to focus on us. It's a great week to get into our fundamentals. And I'm excited, to get back on the grass and see the guys work. And we acknowledge there was an opportunity there to do something against Notre Dame, but also realize the improvement we need to make as a team, and we will make to be the team that we want to be. This team will respond. There's really good leadership in this football locker room. The best way to get over this feeling is to get out and play and go get after somebody else. And the guys know. They understand what happened in that game. There was a true sense of anger in the team room yesterday because they know that they let one go and that they're better, than they showed in that game. And so it's exciting to get out with a team like that and fight, face of adversity, fight harder, and get after it. And, on a health note, just do want to make note of this. It was on the depth chart, but Jakeem Harris will be out for the year. He tore his pec in the UConn game on the third play and had surgery, success. He will be back. He'll have another year with us, and I know he'll do a great job. He did Saturday. He was out there helping the guys. He'll be a coach from a player's perspective that we'll have this year, and just kind of a freaky deal on a tackle. But, we should get Ashford back either this week or definitely next week. So we lose Jakeem, but, eventually we'll have Rock back. Rock's doing really well. He looked good yesterday in the building when I saw him. So, but prayers for Jakeem. I know a guy that works as hard as anybody in this locker room and was going to play, a huge part in our defense this year. So it always hurts losing a starter that has that much game experience. And next guy up, it's an opportunity now for Sean Brown, an opportunity, for Devin Boykin to show his leadership for us back there, and Bishop Fitzgerald, and then Rock when he comes back. Questions?
Reminder to use the raise hand emoji. Aaron Beard, do you want to start us off? Corey Smith, how about you?
Yeah, looking back at that one, you mentioned the drop passes, but on the defensive side of the football, the missed tackles, things along those lines. I mean, how fixable are those over these next couple of weeks, especially when you enter the meat of the ACC schedule a few weeks here?
They're fixable. I mean, some of that you got to give Notre Dame credit. Their backs are pretty good. It wasn't like there was just some bad players out there. They have pretty good running backs. But yes, to answer your question, they're fixable. I think tackling is about a lot of things, and there were some bad angles. So that has to get corrected. There was one play where we had a guy aligned tighter than he should have been. He should have been deeper, which would have given him a better angle. But anything that you see in a game that you don't like, that's where you go, right? You're going to go to practice and you're going to focus on those things. And these kids will work really hard to get better at the things that they weren't showing their best at. And so, yeah, that's an area we're going to focus a lot on, and we actually focused on it before the game too. They just made some plays.
Coach, Brad Hedler and Noah Potter made some plays against Notre Dame. Would you assess the play of the backup defensive lineman Saturday?
Yeah, excited. Like I told you in preseason camp, I think our D-line rotation is going to be good. I think we have fresh bodies that can go in and create some issues for offensive linemen. And Red has been a good pass rusher since he got here. He was in junior college. That's why we recruited him. We really feel like he can be a guy off the edge that creates problems. Noah's a strainer, comes in and just plays really hard. Brandon Cleveland's got a huge upside to him. He and CJ inside are both really active guys. There's a lot of similarities in their play. They can both really move. And so it's nice having that rotation and being able to keep guys fresh throughout the game. And then Travali comes in and adds that as well. So, we feel like we've got 7 guys that we can rotate through in that 3-man front.
Jaden?
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about the leadership on the team. Specifically looking at Peyton Wilson, can you speak about the growth that you've seen from him and just the significance of how he stepped up this last year?
Yeah, it starts with him effort-wise. He ran a kid down in the game and hit 23.4 miles an hour on the GPS. That's the fastest we've ever had at NC State. Like, that kid plays so hard, and so that's where it starts, because everybody in this entire program, like, there's just so much respect to the level of fatigue the guy ends up with at the end of practice game. Spins it all out there. And then just the way he treats people. He treats everybody with such care and respect in the locker room and in the building. And so because of how hard he plays and how respectful he is, he can then also be very demanding of people. And so when he does, ask guys to step up, they're going to listen to him. And he's learned how to do that in a really good way. He's commanding on that defensive side of the ball, and it spreads, He's done a really good job. I'm super proud of him, and, it's paying off. It's paying off in a lot of ways on our team right now.
JC?
I think you guys had 33 plays on first down, but maybe 28 of them were 4 yards or less. Did you detect anything from the film review that maybe Notre Dame did, or just was it just a kind of fluky situation?
Well, we got to be more efficient than that. They outperformed us in those downs. They were a 30% blitz team coming in, and they blitzed us 60% of the game. Like, they really turned up the heat in the game. And so there was a lot of adjusting going on there for a while, because that obviously wasn't what we prepared for on those downs as much. They did a good job. They brought a lot of pressure from a lot of places, and their kids are aggressive. So we have to perform better at that. You would say that they won those downs. I thought once we kind of settled down, unfortunately, it took till after the first quarter, we started moving the ball more routinely in those down and distances. But, yeah, they had a good plan. They brought a lot of different pressures that we didn't practice in those situations enough. And so an area we can grow and get better. And obviously we know that opponents copy other people. So that's something we got to prepare more for moving forward.
James?
Dave, I believe 3 of your 4 newcomers at a wide receiver or tight end, Vereen, Casey, I'm forgetting what Dakari, were at spring practice with you. But you saw those 3 and Rosner make plays in this game. Is that something just kind of as they continue to work through the season early and get into games, maybe more reps? Just discuss their roles kind of moving forward.
Well, KC's already getting a lot of reps. So, I don't think he needs more reps. He just needs to make some more plays, and he will. He will. As he plays more, the game will slow down for him. So, these mistakes that he's making now, they're freshman mistakes. He's going to learn and grow a lot. We all saw that through Emeka's career, how much better he got, playing from freshman year on. Unfortunately, sometimes you're going to deal with freshman mistakes when you play a freshman, and we're just going to have to accelerate his learning curve a little bit to the best of our ability. But he's playing a lot, and I think Vereen, as he continues to play better, for him it's going to be more about playing without the ball. The better he can become a blocker, and he's gotten a lot better in that area. He can help us as a receiver and a ball catcher, and he can do a lot of things. Dakari has been injured a lot since he's been here, and so for us with him, it's more about there's still a lot to be seen as he can stay consistent in practice. He has a good skill set, and as he puts together weeks on weeks and days on days, you're going to see him move up. But he's still, he missed a lot of time with hamstrings and groins and things like that. Even though he enrolled in December, he missed a lot of practice. And so now he's been back for 2 weeks consecutive, and if we can keep that trend going the right direction, that will help us with him. And Bradley just continues to impress us, so his role will continue to grow because of that. And that's the one thing about Coach and I, like, he's going to reward performers. Like, that's what he does, and he's going to continue to tweak this thing. We're still in the early stages offensively of figuring out what we are, I think. It's not there yet. Obviously, you come out of training camp, but you think but games are games. They're different. And so this season, offense is going to evolve as this thing goes.
And just to follow up, a lot of dropbacks in this game against a really strong front. How would you evaluate your offensive line and the blocking and pass pro?
We gave up 1 sack. There was 9 pressures. We got to do a better job there, keeping Brennan clean. There's a couple times where he was hot, so we had a guy unblocked purposely, and sometimes we got the throw where we wanted it. Sometimes he had to run. We can be better, but that is a really good front. Those linebackers, as I said, going into that game, are elite players. So they won some, we won some, right? But I don't think that was the difference in the game. Like, it's just it's kind of one of those games where there was just a lot of, it was different. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, the weather and then the delay and drop passes, early in the game that could have made first downs. We had a 3rd and 4 drop and then a 3rd and 6 drop in the first half that both would have converted. And so those are moving the chains, and you're not when you drop them, and so just little things like that, and then there's a 3rd and 1. We're going to convert, and we have a hard count. They jump off sides, and we don't snap the ball, and then our receiver moves, and now it's 3rd and 6. So we defeated ourselves there, So just little things where we got to be better like we were in the first game. Like, we got into a lot of those manageable 3rd downs, and we operated. And we just didn't operate the way we needed to in that game at times.
Thanks, Eric.
Corey?
Similarly, in the run game, 84 total yards on 30 attempts in this game, not nearly what it was against UConn, obviously a different team that you're facing. But just your thoughts on the way the ground game performed and the blocking up front as well.
Yeah, I mean, it can be better for sure. When you get behind in the game too, it's hard to really lean in on it. But that was a good front. They were blitzing a ton. It's a hard front to run the ball into because of that. And I think areas we got to be better up front, 100%. And there's things we can do to make it easier for them. I think they ran some good blitzes into some plays, and we didn't handle them well. So it's a back and forth on that. And I think as Coach and I learns kind of what we're best at, it will help. It will help. But there are some areas like any game that you were pretty excited about, areas you weren't. It was good to see Kendrick Raphael get in the game, and I thought he made a really nice catch out of the backfield for a freshman to make a contact catch like that, with a hit. Showed some progress for him. I think Delbert Mims ran really hard in short yardage. I think, Jordan Houston didn't get a lot of touches, but he really protected well. I mean, they were blitzing. He was picking up guys and did a really nice job in that role for us. Michael, just only got 1 carry, was in there for a lot of the pass game. So just wasn't one of those games where we leaned on the run game. I think probably more because of what they were doing. But you know how I am. I mean, that's an area I'd love to be better at.
And as a follow-up, you spoke a couple times last week about Brennan, needing to let plays develop a little bit more as opposed to rolling out at times. How did you assess his ability to kind of just stay back in the pocket and let plays develop as opposed to running and carrying the football as well?
I thought he did a better job of that. He took some shots in there and threw some good balls. Like, you watched the throw he made to Bradley Rosner over the middle. I mean, he's got number 8 right in his chin and actually hits him right as it's thrown, and that's a beautiful ball. He threw a pretty seam ball to Porter that, we dropped. Threw a really pretty seam ball on 3rd and 17 to KC that ended up being the interception, that went through his hands. So I thought he got better. He threw a great fade ball outside to Keon, So there was areas where I think he trusted it more in there. And then when he had to run, he ran. He scrambled around and made a great play to Bradley for the touchdown, right? So, I think as the season goes, again, these are new players with him. He's getting to know these guys still, and it's a work in progress. But the kid works really hard, man. He's a guy, when he gets into practice, you can see, like, there was one day he wasn't very accurate with some guys. The next day he comes out and he's just all over it with them. And he really takes all these things to heart. You love how hard he plays. And so I think, the biggest next step is just the chemistry of these receivers, and not just receivers, ball catchers, because so many guys get balls thrown to them in our offense. Just being consistent for him and him being accurate for them, and them having that, really good chemistry together to make plays for each other, and it'll happen. I mean, I'm excited about the way the guys looked in the team room yesterday. There was a very, very good look, a very upset but driven look about the team.
JC?
You mentioned Coach Rocco earlier, and last night I looked up that Richmond box score. Some great names: Brian Sheriffs, Nicholas Sadie. Do you ever look back, and I'm sure in coaching years, it feels like 30 years ago, but do you ever kind of reflect back about what it was like in the beginning and where the program is now?
Yeah. Was that 2013?
Yeah, it was your first year.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's 77 years ago. Dog years, right? It's a long time ago, man. Yeah, it was a nice kick by Nick Sadie to win the game. I remember pieces of that game, but that was a nice kick. We've come a long way in a million ways, in a million ways. Culturally, the facilities, what's happened here over, a period of time, the stadium, the way the fans, every game's sold out. It's a huge thank you to our fan base. The way we're recruiting. So there's just a lot of things to be grateful for. A lot of hard work has gone into it, and there's a lot of great days to come.